Danite Radio.
Welcome to the Counter Revolution.
Finally, bro.
I'm sorry, bro.
Take forever. Some
Yeah, no
tech
kidding.
guy.
I'm the worst tech guy,
The
bro.
worst tech guy.
Welcome back.
Danite Radio. Oh, boy. What's up, folks? Got a dope episode for you today.
Oh, we're real excited about it.
Before we get into what you want to get into, though, let's talk about some other things, shall we?
What do I want to get into? Oh, I remember. Never mind. My bad. Go ahead.
How dare you, sir? So, what has 2020 taught me? You know
boy.
what has 2016 through 2020 taught me? That if Donald
Did
Trump,
you want me to guess?
that if Donald Trump can put up with all the things that he puts up with, I can definitely go to my neighborhood caucus every 2 years and deal with my snide neighbors.
Yes, you can.
Get voted against to become an elector, a delegate, you know. Basically what it's taught me is I got to not give up. I got to fight for this local stuff. I know how to do it. I'm one of the, I've kind of self-taught how to do it. I've been through a few processes. So I got to not get discouraged because, frankly, a lot of people find my views off-putting, even though they're just even though they're just the founders' views. So I'm going to continue to fight, and part of that is with this podcast.
So here we are.
I think the fight starts local. Unfortunately for me, I have the infrastructure set up to where I'm receiving emails from elected officials, local elected officials, telling me what they're doing up there on Capitol Hill,
On the Capitol Hill.
So, yeah. We're gonna reconfigure some things here, and some of our episodes are gonna be us, especially when they're in session, reading those newsletters
and informing the public about what your
informing
representatives
60
are
people
doing.
about what their representatives are doing. So, yeah, probably should have pulled this up while Shadow was messing with his stuff.
Really? I would get all this crap for being a bad tech guy, and you're unprepared. You
I'm
had
ready.
freaking 5 hours.
I'm ready. I got it already. So let's start with this guy. His name is Doug Welton. His parents live like across the road and down the street from me.
Okay.
The man he replaced was a brilliant representative, and I'm
your boy, dude.
I'm pissed that he quit and gave it to Doug Welton, because Doug Welton is just a go along to get along.
He's not a fighter.
I think no, not really. He's a conservative, which doesn't always mean liberty-loving fella. We got in an argument one time. He was a city councilman. Him and I got in an argument one time about, I told him he should close the pool. If you can't afford to fix the roads in Payson, we should close the pool that costs us $500,000 every year. And he made a snide remark like, oh, maybe we should just close all the public parks too. Like, I would think that was a bad thing.
To which you said, yeah.
Do it.
Well, that seems like an effective argument.
So, yeah. But he's a good man. And I think he is a fighter. I just think he fights for different things than I would fight for.
Sure.
I've met with him a few times. I don't really like him as far as politicians go. He's a I like him as a person, but I don't like him as far as he's just a run-of-the-mill Republican who is going to lay down at the first chance he gets to.
Cow to the Republican mob.
Yeah. He's a very Spencer Cox-ish Republican.
Oh.
Which we'll get into that later, I'm sure.
I'm positive we will.
But let's use this podcast to hold Mr. Welton's feet to the fire. And his parents are exceedingly good people. His dad's come over and tried to help me fix my AC a few times. He is a good man. I don't want that to be the takeaway from this, that he's not a good man. He is an exceedingly good man.
Oftentimes, good men are not responsible for great policy. How's that?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. So his first newsletter talks about the presidential inauguration, how historic it was because we have our first Indian vice president who will promise to pretend to be black for everybody.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I don't know. He talks about Representative Shirtliff. I don't even know what. I guess she died. Cool. Thanks for sharing that. He talks about his new intern, another lukewarm Republican politician in training, I guess we should say. Apparently there's a podcast. I'll probably have to check that out this week. Where Representative Walt Brooks talks about concealed carry. Coming up later, folks. And then it talks about legislation. The only legislation he reports on is this. Last summer, Sarah, a Utah high schooler, and her 3 friends were hit by a drunk driver. The accident paralyzed Sarah from the waist down and resulted in the loss of her legs. As she was still receiving urgent medical care just hours after the accident, the man who hit her was already released on bail. Sarah's bill, HB 47, DUI revision, would allow a judge to deny bail to drunk drivers who have injured or killed someone if the court has sufficient evidence to support the charges. These individuals would be held in custody until their trial. The bill passed the House with unanimous support. If you are interested in knowing the other proposed bills during the legislative session, you can click here. So, I didn't follow that link. I was doing a lot of stuff yesterday, but the DUI thing is enough for me to talk about.
Here we go!
And this is like the exceeding...
You should bring this up very first at your caucus. I'm
positive
it'll make you popular.
And that's the thing right there. Yes, it passed with unanimous support. Why? Because you're all a bunch of sniveling cowards. Of course it did. Did he skip bail? It doesn't say anything. Did he not go to court? Did he not face justice?
Yes, he did.
Probably. I don't know. But I bet if he hadn't, it'd say so right here. Right? I'll tell you what we don't need. We don't need more DUI laws. Because the punishment is already harsh enough. This man faced severe consequences. He got behind the wheel and drove anyways. And he's going to do... I hope he does prison time for what he did to this young lady. But the no bail thing is not constitutional. And my friend also got a DUI. And they took his license for 3 years. He's an adult male. He owns a business. He pays a crap load in taxes, or at least his labor is responsible for a crap load of tax revenue. And he still doesn't have his license from a DUI he got 2.5 years ago. Got pulled over a half a block from his house. I think he paid $10,000 in between legal fees and fines. And you have to do mandatory state classes. That's not a severe enough penalty for getting caught a half a block from your house. I get it. Drunk drivers kill people, but guess what? Sober drivers kill people. Vehicles happened away. I drove a truck that I recently upgraded that weighed 14,000 pounds and did 80 miles an hour. No, scratch that. It did 105 miles an hour. That is a recipe for disaster. That's the price we pay for modern technology to get from place to place. Our society...
That is essentially a missile.
Yes.
Driving
yes.
on the freeway
sure.
every day. You are driving in a...
Complete with flammability. It will explode if hit in the right way. This is the price we pay for the life that we lead. We have risky lives. But guess what? All these traffic incidences and all this stuff, still safer than, 100 years ago when measles killed people,
Dying from smallpox.
Yeah, when before, when people were hardy and they didn't wear 2 masks to protect themselves from what generally manifests itself as a common cold. I know it's serious for some people, and I get it. And I'm sorry for those people. But most people, 99.5% of people, and I think it's higher than that, just get a cold and a headache and a little tired. We cannot protect everybody from everything. The DUI laws are strict enough. And I know, they deserve what they get because they decided to get behind the wheel and drink and drive. But guess what? Protection of freedom, you don't have to protect the freedom of good law-abiding citizens. You have to protect the freedom of the guy who got caught with an ounce of weed and is serving 10 years in prison for it.
And that's what our administration
And like it or not,
about.
You can't even call this guy's crime a violent crime. It was an accident. He didn't pick this girl out and run her down. It was an accident. It was an accident made...
car accident?
Yeah, through foolish decisions on his part. But it'd be interesting to know if... who's to say that this young lady didn't run a red light and hit a drunk guy? We don't even know the details of the case. And that happens. That happens.
Let me ask you this question. And I hope you're comfortable sharing. Have you drank and driven?
I have.
Have you been in an accident while drinking and driving?
No.
I have never partaken of alcohol and gotten behind the wheel of a car. Ask me how many accidents I've been in. By statistical logic,
sure.
I am a way bigger hazard on the road sober than you are drunk.
That's true, because I also have been in several accidents sober, but 0 drunk.
We're not advocating to drink and drive.
We are not
the
advocating
point of this.
that.
But the point is, it is just cars themselves are dangerous. That is the danger. Drinking and driving doesn't help things. Texting and driving doesn't help things. But the car itself is very dangerous.
Look, I got this email from Doug, and the only thing it has on it is him getting sworn in, the president getting sworn in, and how he voted for this DUI legislation.
With everybody else.
Are you reporting what happened up there, Doug, or are you grandstanding about what an awesome bill you voted for? This is the kind of, look over here, we're doing amazing things up at the Capitol. We're cracking down on these drunk drivers who a lot of times are good people who just make stupid mistakes. They're not even criminal types. He probably will be when he gets out of prison for running this girl down. But, look, man. The penalties are stiff enough for DUIs. They're stiff enough. Even the founder of MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, resigned because it became a witch hunt.
Well, and that's all we're doing. We're villainizing a demographic because it's easy. It's easy to say, look how good of a state representative I am because I'm opposed to drunk drivers.
Look at me, I'm all law and order. It's as easy as a cigarette tax.
It's as easy as saying, hey, the economy's struggling, but the Jewish economy isn't struggling. Let's burn their synagogues down. I know it's not the same thing.
You're a Nazi.
I know it's not the same thing, but it's the same concept. It's the exact same loss of freedom.
So, I find that exceedingly frustrating. You're not doing any good if you're passing more DUI legislation.
This is going to be so unpopular.
So let's go back, okay? This guy gets wasted, gets behind the wheel, runs down a high school girl and her 3 friends. Let's say it all happened like that. Let's say alcohol was 100% at fault, and that he was 100% at fault in that situation. Do you think if he knew that he wouldn't be able to get bail to get out of Utah County jail, that he would have still got behind the wheel drunk? Yes! He would have! You're not preventing anything. You people are retards. I'm sorry for the R word, but my gosh, you're not doing any good. You're not doing any good.
You are simply capitalizing on people's bad choices and taking their money.
Other than adding to the prison industrial complex, that money goes to the jail. That guy gets to stay in jail. He pays $70 a day to live in that jail. My gosh, dude. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You're not doing any good, folks. You're not even doing what you think you're doing. You're not helping anything. You're not preventing anyone from getting behind the wheel of a car. All you're doing is taking freedom. And taking freedom from a drunk guy is still taking freedom. Restricting bail is still taking freedom.
We have a constitutional process, and you can't. We have a constitutional process of justice. You can't strip it from some people because they made bad decisions. The whole point of it is they made bad decisions. Now trust the process.
Yeah, it's that's the thing. I hope this guy goes to prison, and he probably will. He probably will. That's enough. And you know what? Here's the other thing. The guy is responsible for a high school girl losing her legs.
You think he doesn't feel bad enough?
These are typically good people who have consciences, who think, it can't happen to me, and then it does.
You know, the same thing
and
you
this
think
young lady's
every time
life
you get
isn't
in your car.
Yeah, this young lady's life isn't the only one that got flipped upside down from this incident. What about his family that he probably has to provide for? Maybe the guy was a sober alcoholic who lost his job when freaking COVID hit, and you dumbasses closed the state down, and he started drinking again. If you guys are so worried about substance abuse in this state, open the state up. Don't crash our economy because you're scared of what manifests itself typically in 99.5% of people as a cold. There is evidence that since COVID started, alcoholism has gone up. Domestic violence has
What? You mean people aren't supposed to be inside for 9 months?
Yeah.
Stay at home for 9 months?
So thank you, politicians, for fixing a problem that you probably caused.
Failing to fix a problem that you probably caused, but trying. So, Doug, we're glad you voted for that, but not really.
No, we're not. All right. I also got an email from our boy Mike McKell, who seems to be a bit better than Doug, but
at telling you what's going on.
Oh, he's definitely better at telling you what's going on. But he's also, I think he took Deidre Henderson's seat. Deidre Henderson's the new lieutenant governor. She was a state senator who I really liked. And then I don't know what happened. I don't know if Cox turned her or if she was always like that and I just was tricked. I could have been tricked. Her husband's super nice. I hung out with him like the whole time at the
caucus.
At the county caucus. Not the caucus, it's the county primary. And he talked her up, or she is really good. She was really good about tax legislation, going against taxes, or like trying to cut taxes. It was stuff like that. I think Mike McKell took her seat. Anyways, I'm done with you, Deidre. That's what I'm saying. And I might text her husband because I still have his number on my phone. Be like, hey, I'm done with your wife, bro.
Because she ran with Spencer Cox?
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe she's gonna coo on him. She's cooing.
Hey, dude, I'm always open to coming back to politicians. Mike McKell is working on a bill to protect free speech. As far as, I don't know what that entails as far as what he would do for it. I've heard some pretty good ideas as far as what to do about these tech companies that restrict the speech of the president and
the modern day trust.
Yeah,
I think is what we'd call it.
Yeah, where we have the modern day Standard Oil, where we have a lot of these places like Amazon and Google, like Google fies through Provo. Provo pays money to Google, millions of dollars to get Wi-Fi or fiber optic internet, and Amazon has a bunch of state contracts, and Facebook has some state contracts. They do a lot of like the Ad Council does a lot of advertising with
Facebook.
So if these Republican House, the Republican House has passed bills that said we will not do business with any platform that restricts free speech, then competitors would get that money,
Yeah.
which might be, and it could be in the billions of dollars. If every state did it, it would definitely be in the billions of dollars, if not the trillions. But if just one state did it, it'd be the millions of dollars that we pay these companies as taxpayers, for advertising.
Then turn around and restrict our speech and control the content
exactly.
receiving. Yeah.
So I don't know if that's what he's got in mind here, but he's working on something. So that's good. Human Services Oversight. I don't know. I don't think this is his bill, but I think he's voting for it. But basically what it is there's a lot of these youth treatment centers and things that have zero oversight, that they can do stuff like they can drug the kids under their care and lock them down 23 and a half hours a day. There's a lot of things that they don't have oversight for that they can't even get away with in jails that they can get away with in these youth treatment centers. So he wants to do some oversight into those. Typically, I'm not for oversight on private companies, but when it comes to having children locked in rooms, I'm not exactly against it. Mental health treatment, they want to have a mental health hotline, which is fine, except for it's kind of like a mental health hotline where you call and tell people that you think your neighbor is crazy. So not fine. And as long as it's not tied to the Second Amendment, fine, There's another one, reforming the Utah Sentencing Commission. There was a 14-year-old kid that got charged as an adult for something when he, got 10 years in the state prison as a 14-year-old kid.
Yeah.
I mean, you're just creating criminals when you do that. Like a 14-year-old kid going to live with
criminals,
career criminals. I mean, come on, that's retarded. So I think that this bill is trying to fix that a little bit, but it also and there's another, like a gang enhancement can get you life in prison. So when a lot of these protesters in Salt Lake were spray painting buildings, they could have gang enhanced that, and you could have got life in prison for spray painting a building. They're trying to fix that. Domestic violence amendment to this bill would give you a felony if you commit domestic violence in a 10-year window, 3 times in a 10-year window. I think that's I struggle with that. My views on domestic violence are exceedingly unpopular, I'm sure, but I think the state shouldn't be involved in anyone's marriage, and that's what it is. And it turns into the state being involved in the raising of children. It's just one more way that the state can come into the home and
replace the parents.
Yeah, replace the parents. They want to cut. Somehow there's a tax bill on board where service providers are being charged the tax to buy products for their service, and then the customer of that person is paying the same sales tax on that service. So they're trying not to double tax that, which is always good that they're cutting taxes. It doesn't seem to go far enough for me, but whatever. Price controls, they want to replace or they want to control gouging in emergency situations. But if you think about it like this, had Walmart and Costco started gouging for the price of toilet paper when toilet paper was disappearing off their shelves, that maybe there would have been toilet paper for everybody. So gouging isn't necessarily a bad thing if it keeps things in stock. They passed their base budget, of course, at $95 million and for education growth. Sweet.
Sweet.
Thanks for indoctrinating our children. Teachers, here's $95 million more dollars.
Cheers to indoctrinating our children.
Yay! Also, they apparently they're building a satellite UVU in Payson. Payson thinks like that's gonna set Payson up, like they're gonna explode. They're gonna be the new Lehigh because of this freaking UVU satellite. I'm like, have you seen those UVU satellites, bro? They're just like podunk buildings. Like, sorry, I don't think that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
The reason you're not exploding Payson is because you smell like dog crap 2 times a week. It's like somebody's holding a piece of dog crap right in front of your nose, especially in the summer. And it's probably more like three times a week in the summer. And you're not small business friendly. Your city council messes with small business when they're trying to build things. You change permits on people. And for some reason, the only small businesses you can attract is Mexican restaurants, which, don't get me wrong, I love Mexican food, but 8 Mexican restaurants in a town of 20,000 is too many.
It's too many.
So, yeah. All right. I'm ready. I'm ready for the talk of the day.
Okay.
Constitutional carry coming to Utah, folks.
Hopefully.
It just passed the House, right?
Yes.
Which means it's up for signing by the governor, right? I don't think it has to pass. Like, that means it's already passed the Senate, correct?
I'm not sure.
I think it's up to the governor to sign it. The governor has indicated that he will sign it. For those of you who don't know what constitutional carry is, it does away with the mandate for a concealed carry permit. You can just if you can buy a gun, you can carry concealed. Which, believe it or not, it's the same background check to buy a gun as it is to get a concealed carry permit. So it's just the same people that would be carrying.
Yeah, basically all that concealed carry permit makes different is that you get a background check run on you every week.
Yeah. So my wife has a concealed carry. I refuse to get one because I think they're bullcrap. But I'm not scared to do a little jail time if it comes to protecting my family. I am scared to have my wife do a little jail time for protecting our family, so I made her get one. However, this has happened before. I think it was
only 5 years ago.
Yeah, 5 years ago. At least 5 years ago. It was actually the same time I was hanging out with Deidre Henderson's husband at the
caucus.
At the caucus. So it was more like 6 years ago, I think. Anyways, it was the same thing. It passed both houses of legislation. Governor Herbert had made indications that he was going to pass it, and next thing you know, vetoed. I don't know if they have a veto-proof majority this time or not. I doubt it.
They have a pretty strong majority. It won by a lot, I think. I don't know what veto-proof is in Utah.
I think it's 3/4, but I've seen this before, folks. I would honestly be surprised if Cox signs it into law. He's indicated he will. I'm still not convinced. Because Herbert was the same way. His excuse was, well, we were lied to about the origins of the bill because there was a cowboy who who was riding his horse and put his raincoat on when it started raining and then got in trouble for having a concealed weapon because he had a pistol on his hip and he concealed it when he put his raincoat on. Turns out that story never happened, so I didn't sign the bill into law.
That was the reason?
Yeah. To which he said, it was insulting to law enforcement because our police in Utah would never do this. And I said, what? and I had this conversation with the governor. I said, have you never been pulled over in this state? That you think the cops aren't that unreasonable? Oh, I've been pulled over. They're reasonable. I said, did you not see the video of the man who tried to get out of his car to look at the speed limit sign that the cop said that he was speeding and the cop tasered him for it? Did you miss that video? No answer. Shocking that he couldn't compete with my example of an unreasonable police officer, because the police officers union in this state supports him. So he has to support the police. He can't possibly say that these gentlemen in with badges could possibly be unreasonable. And I'm not saying they're all unreasonable, but sometimes they are unreasonable. And I got news for you folks. Sometimes, as a father and as an employer, I'm a little unreasonable because that's human nature.
Testify.
So what we need to do is make sure that we have cops who are fighting their human nature, and we need to incentivize them to fight that human nature, which means we need to punish cops who tase innocent people for wanting to look at a speed limit sign. Because he didn't want him to get out of his car on the freeway because that's unsafe. So I'll shoot him with a taser, not knowing if he has a pacemaker or not. Because that is nuts. That's safe. Yeah. But cops in this state are completely reasonable and would never
jump to an illogical conclusion ever.
Would never put a cowboy behind bars for concealing a weapon if he was just a good dude. Sorry, folks. You're either breaking the law or you're not in that cop's eyes. And if you're breaking the law, he's going to arrest you and he's going to make sure you're charged.
So, all that being said, I think it might get passed.
There's another factor.
Why.
There's another factor.
Oh, go ahead.
No, let's hear why first. Why do you think it will get passed?
Before it passed the House floor, there was a change made to the bill itself. It was changed so that all the money that is currently in the concealed carry program will be reallocated to mental health and suicide prevention.
Okay.
And I am fairly certain that was a Spencer Cox addition to the bill. He encouraged and advocated for that with the House. And so I have higher hopes that because he's had a part in the writing of the bill, he'll be more likely to sign it.
It would be interesting to see the wording on that mental health thing. If it restricts any gun rights for people who need mental help. That's not good. He shouldn't pass it if that's what's in it. But that being said, I've seen it's a political ploy. I've seen it before where politicians will amend bills and then vote against them. There are certain times when there's advantages to that.
Sure.
I don't, and that's me. I've spoken to political. So there's a lot of, what are they called? Consultants who go work on campaigns, who help with bills and help with, help create the image that these politicians are trying to maintain. Correct. And I spoke to one who was working with the who's the lady that was the mayor of Eagle Mountain, African American woman, I don't know. Mia Love. She was working with the Mia Love campaign, and she had suggested a very similar strategy, where you amend the bill, try and get everything you want. If you don't, you vote against it, even though you worked super hard to amend it yourself. So there are political games that happen. Sure. And maybe, I hope you're right. Don't get me wrong. I really hope you're right.
And that's all I'm saying is I hope that it passes, and I have.
But I will not be surprised when it gets vetoed.
Me neither.
And the other issue with why it's not being vetoed, why I think it'll be vetoed, there's a few lobbies at the state capitol who are against it, and one of those is
are very powerful.
And I don't know if they are against it this time, but last time the church lobby was against it. It still passed with a huge majority in the House, but it was interesting that Herbert shot it down. And I'm not sure how the church lobby works as far as the interior workings of the church and the bureaucracy and how much power they have independent of what the brethren say. But it wouldn't surprise me at all if these bureaucrats are kind of just taking liberties and using church money to lobby against things that they don't like. And if that's the case, church lobbyists, that's a sin. But I think they're also missionaries. So I think they're called. But still. Do you know?
No. But that just because they're missionaries, that's not evidence that they're not
taking liberties?
Taking liberties.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. No, I'm with you.
There's my buddy's mission president would always say, any sin you can think of has been committed by an active.
Sure. So, well, my inside source said he talked to the lobbyists. He's like, where's this coming from? And they say the top. He's like, well, I can go into my office right now, get on my knees, and get to the top. So, are you sure? And that's all they'll say. It comes from the top. It comes from the top. But they won't say it comes from the prophet. They won't say it comes from the 12. They'll just say it comes from the top. So there's got to be a line of command. Who knows if it's them doing it or if it's the one above them. Or maybe it is the prophet, but
I tend to lean towards not.
So
unpopular, I know, but
yeah, there we have it. That's all I have to say about that.
Oh, I have one more.
Don't be surprised, folks, when it doesn't pass. Go ahead.
Lawmakers, politicians, members of our state government. This is your responsibility to the Constitution to sign this bill.
For sure.
To pass this law. It is simply giving back some of our right to bear arms. That, 100%. According to the Constitution, shall not be infringed. And the concealed carry permit is an infringement of our right to carry. It is absolutely unconstitutional. And I know that, but this court and this court said that it was constitutional, that we can't take all the amendments. No, it is written as the right to carry or the right to bear arms shall not be infringed. And this is an infringement of our right to bear arms. It is lawmakers, politicians, government officials, it is your responsibility to give back, really to give back all of our rights to carry, but start here and give back our right to bear arms that has been infringed.
Yep, and you act like, well, the 10th Amendment or whichever, I think it's the 10th Amendment, says the state has a right to do what the federal government can't do. No. The state can't infringe on our right to practice our religion. The states can't infringe on our right to speak our minds. And guess what? The Second Amendment is an equally vital amendment as both of those. Why? Because it protects both of those.
But the state can infringe on our right to be slaves, to be enslaved. They can make us slaves.
They can, according to the 13th Amendment.
I know.
Which should be repealed. No, not because I want black people to be slaves, but because I don't want prisoners to be slaves. Because if you can't stand for the rights of prisoners, you can't stand for the rights of anybody.
Glad I got you worked up on that one. Yes! Nailed it!
So, there you have it, folks. This is my commitment to bringing more localized news as far as local politics. I'm going to do more studying. I'm going to work harder to get the Utah House in order. I don't have a ton of power. I don't have any power, but I do have a voice, and I do have my time and my fortune and my sacred honor that I can dedicate to the mending of this state and this nation. It starts local, folks. Beware of who's on your city council. Beware of who your mayor is. Call them out. Go to your city council meetings. Challenge what they're doing. If the roads in your town are in shambles, but you have a pool, a municipal pool, you are losing money on that municipal pool. I guarantee it. And you're going to go there. You're going to start experiencing odd resistance from the people in the audience, not just the city council. And you're going to realize, oh, the pool manager and the city manager are here. And they're protecting their job. It gets awkward, but they can find other jobs.
Or sell it and turn it into a viable private business. What?
Sure.
No way. That's crazy talk.
Yep. The bureaucrats tend to survive. They will be bitter at you, and they might come at you hard. They have the police chief's ear when they're bureaucrats. They're all buddy-buddy. You might find yourself getting pulled over more often in your town, but this is the price we pay to protect freedom. If the cop doesn't agree that the roads should be fixed, he might be unreasonable. I know that cops in this state couldn't possibly be unreasonable, Governor Herbert, but sometimes they are.
Yeah, sometimes they are indeed. Here's what we're calling for, folks. We're calling for mob rule. Not really. Mob rule in the show up, be a participating, law-abiding citizen, a political force to be reckoned with. We have the tools to get things done if we're willing to take the time out and fight for what we believe in. It's a mob of law-abiding citizens who are doing their part to pass things that they believe in. It's not true. A real mob.
We can work within the system, and as Dana Lash made it clear, how many of the people that stormed the Capitol have been working in their local communities to change the laws in their local communities that actually affect them? Probably 0%. There are still avenues in this country for us to fix this society and to change the local things that we want to change. When those avenues are taken away, let's get violent, boys. I'm not even a little bit scared to say that. But the avenues are still there.
It starts in your city council meetings.
It starts local. It starts in your caucus. It starts in your city council. It starts in, if this city councilman is talking out his teeth, talking out of both sides of his mouth and lying, campaign against him. Get him replaced. Find people who will uphold the laws, who will fight the bureaucracy within the city, and
Elect them.
Elect them. Get them elected. That is your option.
When people say go out and vote, those are the most important people you can vote for.
Yep.
The people where your vote counts. Every vote matters in a city election. Every single one of them. Get out there and vote. Find people that are going to fight for what you believe in. Find people that are honest, they have some integrity, and are going to fight for what they believe in and are going to fight the system that is in place. Get out there. Let's make some change. Let's change things for the better.
And a little food for thought. We use Dominion systems in this state. We'll see how the lawsuit goes between Dominion systems and Trump's lawyers, Rudy Giuliani specifically. I find it interesting that Dominion has the guts to sue about it, meaning maybe they're more honest than we were led to believe. However, why would we want that system in our state? Especially you Democrats who think that, Republicans control this state. Time to get Dominion out, because Republicans can cheat just like Democrats can. And
what?
All you Mormons,
how could you say that?
All you Mormons out there who think, well, Cox is a Mormon, so he wouldn't cheat. Shut up. You're an idiot. Mormons cheat too.
Yeah, just watch our family play Phase 10.
So, that's a local issue that we can fix. That's a local issue that we can fix. We can make sure, and I'm not saying that Dominion Systems is even the problem, but there is openings for, in our mail-in voting system, there are openings for fraud. We got to get that replaced. You have to go out and vote. You have to make an effort in this country if you want to keep it free. That's part of being a moral people, is willing to do your duty, willing to drive a block to your polling place and vote.
And potentially willing to fight your city council.
Yeah, fight the pool manager who is upset at you for...
Let's do battle, folks. Let's do battle with those old...
Yep.
Those city
Change
bureaucrats.
starts at home. And maybe you like the pool, so go out and fight for the pool. I'll fight you. But we need to be fixing these problems. The problems that we see are happening all start at a local level. Make sure your sheriff is willing to deputize every citizen to make sure that they get to keep their gun rights. Make sure you have that kind of sheriff. And if you don't,
elect him.
At the very least, campaign against the one you have. I went up, I campaigned against Orrin Hatch, and it was brutal, man. There was nothing but hatred for me and my friend up there. It was brutal. Brutal. But we did it. We made it clear that, not everyone thinks this guy is good. And I don't know. I don't know how guys like that stay in. When Mitt Romney wins again, I don't know how. I think that I don't know how Spencer Cox gets 60% of the vote. I think there's cheating going on in this state. It's the only thing that makes sense to me, and I could be wrong, but why not be sure by getting rid of this mail-in voting that is too easily corrupted?
That's unpopular.
It's our generation's time.
I was under the impression that Republicans never cheat.
Yeah. Well, at least
just
the ones
ask
that are Mormons.
Just ask them.
Let's follow Trump's lead. Look, they destroyed that guy's reputation. We've had guests on this show who legitimately think he's a child molester. All right? That's what you get for fighting. That's what you get. But what did he do? He stood and traded. He didn't back down. He didn't go home. He didn't go to... I don't even think he's done yet. And his poor wife, what she went through all of this, and his kids,
The second hottest first lady we ever had.
It's a tie for first, bro.
Her and Jackie Kennedy?
Yeah. Anyways.
She didn't deserve that, is the point.
No. It's a 3-way tie. Jackie
Martha
Kennedy. 4-way tie. Jackie Kennedy, Trump, Hillary Clinton. No. Look. What was I talking about? Oh.
He's a fighter. He's trading blows.
They did the same thing with
He's taking damage. He's giving damage.
They did the same thing with the Founding Fathers. They smeared them. They were going to be put to death. All these things. And we can expect nothing less out of ourselves if we want to maintain a free country. So, there you have it, folks.
Go get some.
Get some. Issue pushed.
Issue pushed.
Have a good week.
All right, folks. God bless y'all.